Why is Chittagong in Bangladesh so important, and why has it drawn such sharp reactions from several leaders in the northeast, including Pradyot Manikya, who's the founder of the Tripura, the second largest party in Tripura? And what has triggered these calls for break Bangladesh amidst what is being seen as a move by Bangladesh to alienate India and move closer to China, especially when it comes to development around the Chittagong Port. Now, the Chittagong Port is something that India also has been eyeing strategically. There have been agreements with Bangladesh in the past as well, and these agreements allow transshipment of goods to India's northeast, and it's important to develop these routes because otherwise all movement takes place through the Siliguri Corridor or the Chicken's Neck, which is a very important strategic area, but is also under a constant sort of vigil, given the fact that it is a very narrow corridor and there are threats, security threats to the area. Now, what Bangladesh is doing is that it is saying that apart from whatever trade takes place with India, the new regime is making a push towards China, and it's looking at China with a focus on investments, and this was outlined in a briefing at the Bangladesh Foreign Service Academy by officials of the current administration. And in fact, they are looking at sectors like healthcare, etc., where again India had a big role. But Ashik Chaudhary, the chairman of BIDA and BEZA, who is an official, a senior ranking official in Bangladesh, says that pushing for higher frequency on going to China, and he's also sure that it is possible to get the maximum amount of investment from China.
Bangladesh will convert into a manufacturing hub. ওয়ার্ল্ডের ফ্যাক্টরি হিসেবে বাংলাদেশ আবির্ভূত হবে এবং শুধুমাত্র বাংলাদেশের লোকাল মার্কেটকে টাচ করার জন্য চাইনিজ ইনভেস্টরদেরকে আমরা আসতে বলছি না এখন আর। আমরা বলছি আপনারা আসেন, আপনারা বাংলাদেশের লোকাল মার্কেট কেটার করেন, আপনারা সেভেন সিস্টার্সকে কেটার করেন, আপনারা নেপাল ভুটানকে কেটার করেন, এবং আমরা যেহেতু এখন একটা বেশ কয়েকটা পোর্টের দিকে এগিয়ে যাচ্ছি, আমরা মাতারবাড়িতে একটা ডিপ সি পোর্ট করছি, আমরা চিটাগংয়ে একটা বে টার্মিনাল করার কথা বলছি। সো আমাদের পোর্ট কানেক্টিভিটি তৈরি হয়ে গেলে বাংলাদেশকে ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিং হাব হিসেবে এস্টাবলিশ করে আপনারা সাউথ ইস্ট এশিয়া এবং পোটেনশিয়ালি রেস্ট অফ দ্য ওয়ার্ল্ডে আপনারা এক্সপোর্ট করেন। সো এই প্রপোজিশনটাই কিন্তু এবার আমরা চাইনিজদের কাছে নিয়ে গিয়েছি এবং সেটার উপর বেসিস করে ওনারা অনেক আগ্রহ দেখাচ্ছে। সো আমরা খুবই আশা করছি যে আমরা সামনে অনেকগুলা সিরিজ অফ ইনভেস্টমেন্ট দেখতে পাবো। আমাদের যে আপকামিং সামিট আছে সেখানে চাইনিজ ডেলিগেশনটা সবচেয়ে বড়, এখন পর্যন্ত 96 জন চাইনিজ ইনভেস্টর আসার কথা বলেছেন, বাট আমাদের এই সফরের পরে আরো অনেকে আগ্রহ দেখিয়েছেন। সো আমার ধারণা নাম্বারটা 100 বেশি হয়ে যাবে শুধু চায়না থেকে।
And they are involving China in all these plans. Now, this is something that India is watching closely because remember, like I said, the Chittagong Port exists very close to Sabroom on the southern Tripura border. India has already built the India-Bangladesh Moitri Bridge, which is to improve road connectivity from Sabroom to Ramgarh and onwards to Chittagong in Bangladesh, which is the port we're talking about. Also, there is the Akhara rail link near Agartala. So all of these infrastructure building has already been done to facilitate movement of goods through the Chittagong port, and therefore in this area bringing in China is being seen as a snub to India and also as a bid to alienate India's interests, alienate India and make a move towards China, which is why you see these calls of break Bangladesh coming also from leaders from the northeast, because these are issues where the northeast feels specifically affected given the security, given the economic security of the region is concerned, and therefore these calls have been coming in. But it is really about the economics, because remember, a lot depends on the Chittagong port for India's strategic interests and what transshipment of goods to the northeast. It's a much shorter route than the long Siliguri Corridor route, which means that goods have to pass all the way through Assam and then move on to West Bengal, Assam and states that are there in between before reaching the northeastern states. So this is something that has been in India's focus as well, and which is why you see leaders from the northeast reacting very sharply in terms of the economic interests of the northeast that many see a threat to from the current moves of the current administration in China, which is basically being interpreted as alienate India and adopt China in terms of economic interests, corridors, etc., which has not gone down well with politicians from the northeast in India. For more such videos where we bring you the news with context and go behind what's happening as far as the headlines are concerned. Stay tuned to NDTV for such videos, because these are videos where we go beyond the headline and give you context of all the news that's happening, especially when it comes to strategic issues and other issues that govern India and the neighborhood. Thank you so much for watching NDTV. Stay tuned to NDTV's YouTube platform.